I am a fan of Bernina's Pinpoint Placement, and even more of a fan now that I'm using the Bernina 790 Pro. Hi, I'm Sarah from sewingmastery.com, where we do free video tutorials on all the different models of machines, including online courses like this one called our Bernina Pinpoint Placement Masterclass. We even have another sample kind of hiding right behind the machine of all the things that you can do when you have functions like the pinpoint placement built into this machine. But because we are doing just the new things of the pinpoint placement function on this machine, we do have a playlist with over 100 video tutorials already done on the Bernina 790 Plus, which are already in this machine. So we're kind of just doing highlight videos of some of the newest things. So when we're talking about pinpoint placement, one of the things that they've added, oh, by the way, the laser is incredible. Saves me, I wish I almost had that for when I was teaching that online course, because it would have saved me tons and tons of time. But one of the things you do have in this machine is even more built-in quilting design. So folder number 2 has files, and they even have a unique format to them, BQM files. We do have a video, we'll link that right up here, of what a BQM file is all about, the ability to change it even more than before. So it's great. And from, say, Oklahoma Embroidery, you can buy their quilting designs in this format, and then this machine can handle them in all these new ways. I'm going to just use the design number 9, kind of this little wreath feather design, and I know it looks a little funny, but today I'm using a jumbo hoop. My maxi hoop is somewhere else, and the jumbo hoop is actually for the Bernina 8 series, which is a bigger machine, so that's why it kind of looks a little lopped off on the side. So if you have this hoop, you can use it. It's just going to give you just the area or playground, I might say, that you're able to work in. So as you go in to the I for information and jump over to the pinpoint placement, here are some of the new things that we're talking about. If you haven't turned on the laser, this is your function right down in this lower corner. It turns it on, turns it off. You can use it for embroidery, you can use it for sewing. So when I need to find where one of these points is going to be, maybe I'm working within a quilt block, but maybe my block isn't just perfect. All I have to do is line up that light in that corner, and away you go. So use these new functions because they're there and they are saving you a ton of time. We have had the traditional pinpoint placement function, but now we have the 4-point placement option, which we're going to explore a little bit more. Even in here, there's even 2 ways to use it, and I'm also going to explain kind of the margin option as well as the size locking, so you can kind of keep everything all to the same kind of size. What we have here is the ability to just pick a corner, and as soon as you pick one, it is going to, you kind of heard the hoop move, it is moving the hoop and the needle to that upper right corner. So you can kind of see that right now, and I know I've kind of got a design in there now, but right now that is exactly where that is going to be. And as I turn these knobs, as I move this to the side, it is adjusting. Okay, well, where is that part of your quilt that you need it to actually be placed? So, and here's another thing about pinpoint placement now is you don't even have to get the quilt in there straight. Just get it in the hoop. Or maybe you're using one of the new Bernina clamp hoops, and yeah, you can get things in there really straight, but you don't have to. Just kind of get it in there and then use these functions to fine-tune, tweak, and adjust. And maybe you didn't sew your block perfectly together, or that area, maybe the corners didn't match perfectly from another block. It's okay. You can kind of find a happy medium, line up that line and that light, and the machine is going to do the rest for you. So you're seeing on screen that we can kind of come over to each of these points and kind of twist the knob and kind of bring them in to the area that you need it to be. You're actually seeing the design is actually changing size, so we can kind of make this a little bit longer and kind of get it exactly where you want it to be. So you're not locked into just the size of the design. Now here is the other option. I'm going to go ahead and do reset. and I'm going to go over to the morphing option. Same thing, as soon as I pick a corner, kind of hear the hoop moving to that corner we were in earlier. But this time, watch the design. This is going to turn, and I'm going to do this a lot. It's going to turn. We don't have a circle anymore. We have more of an oval. So as we are actually morphing this design, gosh, we could almost turn this almost into a skinny top and a wider base. So it has the ability to really be custom or customized to the area you're placing it in. And actually, it kind of gives it a whole new look because it almost looks a little bit more 3D than just the original symmetrical shape. Now, while we're here, let's talk about this next one. If you touch your question mark and touch that function, it's talking about margin spacing. Set the distance between the boundary frame and the embroidery design. So if you keep your eye on the edges here, right now it's just been at 0. So as I drop it in 1/8 of an inch, you notice the design came in 1/8. Maybe a little easier to see as I go to a larger margin, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch. So if this was your kind of trapezoid that we were putting this design in, we could have that design kind of be on the inside of it, not right on the edge or right on the seam. You get to control the margin. Let's touch it one more time. You can go up to 3/4 of an inch in and 1 inch in. 1 1/8, 1 1/4, 1 1/2. Okay, I didn't realize it went all the way up there. That's pretty awesome. So there was all the settings that you can do. So once you get things going, if you feel like you just don't want to be living on the edge, go ahead and drop it in 1/8 or even 1/4 inch, and then you don't have to be as perfect because it's still going to look good no matter what. Maybe this wasn't what you were planning on doing. Always the reset button if you want to kind of start over. But once you come out of here, touch the X. Your machine is going to then take that design and get it's ready to stitch. You've morphed it to exactly where and how it's going to set within your design. Go ahead and go to the stitch out screen and you're ready to go. Now, one other thing that we did talk about over in the video for the BQM files is the ability to adjust the stitch length. So a default setting is like 10 stitches per inch, but you can go ahead and in this machine set it to be up to 24 stitches per inch and down to a much larger stitch at, down to 6 or so. But depending on your thickness of thread or how dense the design actually is, will lend yourself to what is actually going to look good. So I'd test that out before you jump in and just start changing it. But that is another benefit with these built-in designs, is having the ability to change the stitch length. Now, if you don't want it changed, just make sure this is off. It will come in off, but the last thing I did had it on, so it remembered it. So normally that will be just gray and without the yellow box around it. So if you haven't noticed, whenever you turn something on, it's yellow, and when you don't have a yellow box, it is off. And all you have to do is touch it to toggle it one way or the other. I hope you will have some fun playing around with all the pinpoint placement options, maybe quilting your next quilt with your embroidery machine. And if you haven't already splurged on a bigger hoop, head over to your local BERNINA store and buy the maxi hoop or the clamp hoop, and or maybe you had a previous machine and you have the jumbo hoop. Give it a try. That will work as well. Check out the pinpoint placement masterclass. We've got lots of options, lots of ideas. And by the way, all these designs are included. There's 20 different ways to do these designs, depending on how you rotate them around. This was just a small version of what the total quilt will look like, but we do it on the BERNINA 790, and you can follow along perfectly. One last thing, if you haven't already clicked like on this video, make sure you do that before you leave, and that is your way of saying thank you for this free information. And do that on every video you watch, whether it's from us or from some of your other favorite YouTubers.